recording my screen. I'm gonna try it again. Hopefully this time it won't freeze. So I can put my engine. What's up, Ludwig? All right, the Dreaded Laramie's in the house. Welcome, guys. Yes, let's view that. The Dreaded Laramie, check them out. Hey, Jack.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. Oh dang, I'm off the screen a little bit. Let me lower. All right. I'm doing well. How are you doing? How's your day?
Man, it has been good. You're joining me live from the Pokemon suite.
Nice.
What my grandpa calls my bedroom.
The Pokemon suite.
Yeah.
Man, that's the last time I remember hanging out with you in person. We went on a hike to go play Pokemon Go. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. It was 2016. It was the whole world was open to us.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey Zach, do you want to go on a hike?" And I was like, "You know what? I bet he's gonna want to play Pokemon Go." And of course, like 3 steps in the hike, you're like, "Hold on, Mr. G, 1 sec." And you got your phone out and you're catching Pokemon.
Yeah.
You weren't the only one. Like everybody hiking that day was playing Pokemon Go, so that was pretty fun.
It was a time when I didn't really understand how that game worked, and I thought that going like very, very far away from service and Wi-Fi would produce a lot of Pokemon.
Like rare gems that would be uncovered.
Yeah, that was not how that game was designed, unfortunately. So sorry about that.
Well, let's see. We got some viewers now. I think 2 of them. And so let's talk a little bit about our history and how we met. And I want to talk a little bit mainly about what you're doing now, and we'll get to that. So let's see. I can just say that I know Zach because he used to be a student of mine at Rock Canyon High School. And man, like you have to understand, like I taught art, but then there was this kid who would come, he was pretty good at drawing and painting, but then he'd like pull out a guitar that I had hanging on the wall, and he would just do amazing things with it. It was magic. And as as high school went on, like he just got better and better and better, and I would love it when you would come in and during your lunch hour and you would just start playing and practicing. It was just practice for you, but I loved it. And I miss it. It was one of those cool things where during lunch hour you would come in and play. It was one of those things I reflect on very dearly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a nurturing place to be a musician because Mr. G was so stoked to let me, just come in and practice. And I mean that was my lunch hour when most people were, out hanging out with their in a big noisy lunchroom and stuff, and so to get like in the middle of a high school day just a little bit of time to hang out and have a little bit of quiet and stuff was so nice. And there were all these kids from all these different backgrounds that used to come in and hang out with us, and it was so weird because
it was like a weird cluster of outcasts that found a sanctuary in the art room. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and they'd sneak over to the church parking lot to smoke cigarettes, and we're like, "Come on, Zach, you want to come?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know much about smoking, but I'll come hang out with you guys."
Oh man, I didn't know that, but of course, high school. But after that, you went to Tennessee, right?
Yeah, I went to Belmont University in Nashville, and I've been at Nashville ever since.
Yeah, so let's fast forward and tell me about the Dreaded Laramie, because it's all new to me. I was listening to your stuff on Spotify last night, and I love it. It's really fun. I like it a lot. The lead singer, MC? What's her name?
MC, yeah, MC Cunningham.
Yeah, she's got a great voice, and I could clearly hear your guitar in there. I mean, it's a really good sound, and I'm gonna share it with everybody. So yeah, thanks for making good music and good art and putting it out there.
Damn,
Um,
thank you so much.
that's yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I want to do is during this time, quarantine, COVID-19. I've been having a lot of really good nitty gritty conversations about art with a lot of my friends, and whether they're a musician or an artist or a dancer or whatever. Like we've been connecting, and why not just share these conversations and catch up at the same time? So I want to hear more about the Dreaded Laramie, like how you guys got together, why it's called the Dreaded Laramie, and yeah, let's start there. Like, why is it called the Dreaded Laramie?
Well, when we like first formed the band, coming up with band names was like a pastime. We would just it was part of hanging out with my friends, as we would just make up these like kind of ridiculous ones, and they all had to be kind of references to stuff that we felt was very us. And one of those things is a clickhole article called "Which One of My Garbage Sons Are You?" And that was like mine and MC's like sense of humor. It was like super absurd and like over the top and stuff. And so that article was so funny to us because you could be one of four garbage children. It was like a survey that you took, like a personality quiz. But then you'd end up as either Preston, Royce, Lance, and Blake, two names for just one garbage son, and then the Dreaded Laramie. And that was us. That was our brand of ragtag stomachache rock.
Okay,
Uh,
well, that's an interesting way to go about it, man. It's a unique name for sure. Like, I'm not gonna forget it. Like, so how long have you guys been together playing music?
our first show was November 12th of 2016.
Okay, so a
But
while. Yeah.
yeah. We've had a lot of like lineup changes and stuff since then. Um, but uh, but yeah, all just friends of mine from college, from Belmont. A lot of them, didn't study music. They had uh, like these other things, and just but that's like the Nashville thing, is to be incredible at musician as like your side thing, and to study other great things. So our first bass player was like this insane bio major, and was like so sciency, but also writes crazy guitar licks. And he would and he was our bass player for a while. And then Drew, our current bass player, he was a double major of philosophy and audio engineering. So
Wow, audio engineering. Yeah, like that's a science in itself, man. Like I was barely tipping my toe into the pool when I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a podcast and like talk to artists, friends of mine. And I'm like, nope, I don't want to buy any equipment or download any software. I'm just gonna use Instagram Live. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, maybe he could like push me in the right direction once I want to get deeper into this pool. But this is fine for now.
yeah, totally. And then MC and I, she was a
It's
couple
Mount Driver
grades
Black Kia.
younger than me, but we have like a mutual friend, and I told her about Weezer, and I was like, yeah, you got to check out Weezer. They're the best. And so
Well, I was gonna
she
surprise her
actually
at the
did,
door.
which I was
She didn't.
surprised about.
She had never heard of Weezer before.
She's being weird with
I'm
us,
sure
so
she had
we
heard
can
of
say
Beverly
so. You might
Hills
not
from
come
like
too close.
middle
I
school and
was just
stuff,
gonna
but
say, hello,
she went
welcome.
home for break, and we didn't really talk at all because I didn't know her
But
super
she's
well
taking
at the
forever.
time. But then when she got back, she was
She's
like
parked.
on my level with Weezer
Oh, she's
stuff.
still in
She
her car?
like knew
Having an
the
NPR
intricacies of
moment.
the Blue album and Pinkerton, and we had copyright law together, and we would like co-write papers about Pinkerton, and uh, just like all this ridiculous like Weezer stuff. And that ended up being um, like sort of the basis, because little did I know MC was already like had been writing incredible songs since high school. So
Wow. Yeah, and she's got a great voice. Like it's really dreamy and playful, like at the same time, and there's a punch to it, you know. Like I'm
yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah, totally.
yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. So does she write most of the songs? Do you guys write together? Like how does that go?
We definitely do like a good bit of the kind of polishing process is like is a collaborative thing. But I would say that sort of like the core of a lot of the songs, MC will start out writing, and she'll like send us a demo with these really catchy and fun melodies. And then either she'll come up with a guitar part that she likes, and we'll do like the guitar harmony thing, or sometimes it's stuff that I'll throw on there.
All the windows are open.
And hopefully that comes through. Like I used to tell
I dropped
one of the bands that I was in that I'm the flare of strokes that you just put into the thing because I love their guitar parts and stuff. But MC and I work really well together because we both care a lot about the catchiness of the songs and want to want to help that. Like that live and that shine as much as possible, you know?
Yeah. And like, I mean, we kind of spoke about this the other day when we were like just catching up a little bit about making art and making music, how it's very unique, you know, in line with like the sciences. You know, they kind of parallel each other, but you know, that kind of chemistry where you can create something together that's unique, you know. I really like that about bands. I feel like I'm so cool sometimes when I get to work with a band. Like, oh yeah, I get to like do a sticker design or an album cover or t-shirt or whatever, and I can just kind of see from a little bit closer like the chemistry and how it all works, and there's relationships that they somehow through some sort of magic create this beautiful music, you know. And I guess what I'm getting to point is that I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said it best. He was like, in science there's a path, and if Einstein didn't get to E=mc², some other scientist would have, you know, because that's the path you go. That's where the science and that's where it leads. And you step on the shoulders and, you know, are lifted up from past people. But with art, I feel like what he said was really cool. He said, you know, if Van Gogh didn't paint the Starry Night, nobody would have, you know. I was like, oh dang, that's pretty cool. And same with you guys, like same with songwriters. If you guys aren't writing, you know, Goggles, like nobody else would have, you know. And so I think that's pretty cool, you know. It's one of those things that I love about art. It's a very unique thing that comes from us as human beings. Do you guys like to write in the morning? What is your writing? What are your jam sessions like? More like evening things or what?
Yeah, well, we're not usually in the same place very often. So MC lives in Lexington, Kentucky, and Drew and I live in Nashville for the most part. And obviously recently we're now even further apart because I'm back in Denver. But so it's really whenever a spot opens up for us that we want to write. I'm always blown away by MC's songwriting process because I just never know when she's going to text me something totally awesome like that, and sometimes it feels like the rest of the time is just trying to get me into a headspace that feels like confident enough to be to be playing with her and with the ideas, because
it's like that imposter syndrome creeping in a little.
Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely more of an expert at being insecure about creation than I am about being like even overcoming it yet, because it's still something that I'm new to, and that I feel like you know, sometimes I don't want to step on MC's toes, and I have to I'll have to take an idea alone into my room or something like that, or say like let's put it down for now and just hang out for a bit, and then like when I'm feeling up for it, I'll like tweak at it a little bit more. So really, to
Okay.
answer your question, any time of day, it can really happen.
Matthew?
Uh, in general, MC is the more productive one than I am.
I'm curious, have you guys tried to do anything during this
I
time where
have
you're
this one
all
you could
so
give
far
to
apart and it's all
Matthew.
digital? Like a
It's this
Zoom
one. It's
jam
this break.
session or something. I don't even know how that would work. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great video of a band called Pup trying to have a like a jam sesh together, and like it just falls apart because of the latency of the thing, and
Yeah.
it's so funny. But yeah, for us, MC and I have been doing like a collaborative thing where we've been covering little songs in like short 15-minute Instagram videos. We did that, taking requests, and that was a ton of fun. MC still comes up with a lot of ideas that she'll kind of send to us here and there, but it's hard that we can't like play it together at the same time.
Okay.
I think before the quarantine stuff ends, I'm gonna do some very, very rudimentary garage band work, I think, and try and play around with some ideas. But we were gonna try and record some new songs this spring and towards the beginning of this summer. And obviously, like everyone's life plans for 2020, it's getting postponed sort of indefinitely.
Yeah.
But
a lot of people are kind of in this state where everything stopped and they're like, oh my gosh. I feel like artists are uniquely adapted to like a time like this where they have a skill set that they can hone further. Like with me, I
Yeah.
just go in my studio. Like I'm not teaching, all my classes are canceled right now, but I can pour hours into my work.
Yeah.
Are you having anything like that with like collecting some sort of fodder for or even practice time right now?
Yeah, a little bit. I would say I was actually going to ask you about that too, because I know that there was not dodging the question, but I know that a lot of people in this time have felt like a little bit burdened by the open space of it and being like, oh God, there's so many things that I should be doing, to be creating. Like this is my time to make my magnum opus, and then when they don't have the inspiration for it, they can really beat themselves up. I had a little bit of that too when I came home, where it's kind of like, okay, well now I do finally have the time for all of these projects that I've always told myself I would do if I had more time. That is so many things, and there's so much pressure that you put on yourself for that I found myself kind of hiding from the creative process towards the beginning of being quarantined. But did you have anything like that where, or have you found that it is like that you're kind of?
No, that's a really good question. Like in the beginning, it was weird. Like I teach private art lessons and workshops, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I don't have to teach any lessons for a while. This is cool, like I'll just take a break. And so I was kind of happy to just go into my studio. And then as the news of the quarantine and COVID-19 got more serious, and I was like, oh, all of a sudden this feeling of like irresponsibility was creeping on my shoulder, going like, what are you doing in your studio? Like there are larger issues out in the world that I need to address and give my attention to. And I felt like I was being irresponsible just being in my studio making art, because I was happy doing that. And it's like my old teacher, Juliet Aristides, read my mind from Seattle or something, because she wrote this beautiful blog about creating art in hard times. And what it basically said, let's see if I can sum it up, was, if we just waited for a safe, serene time to make artwork, art would never be made. So you're an artist, you worked hard to hone these skills, make art. And after reading her article, which she's a poet and an artist, I'll send you the article later. um, I was filled with like a sense of duty and purpose, and I've been on a creative streak ever since. Like I've been in my studio just working hard, and but at first, yeah, I felt like that feeling on my shoulder, like of irresponsibility, really made me stop. I was not productive at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also just if anybody here is like watching from Nashville too, there's so much creativity going on in that city that um, a lot of the times you kind of you put that pressure on yourself to be like, oh God, I should be making this kind of thing. And I found that being quarantined and just giving myself sort of the space to um, re-establish my relationship with music in a way that's not quite so dire and not so without all of the expectations of being like, oh God, this isn't like good enough to be here, or this isn't going to be anything that people want to hear, and just sort of like having like the bedroom guitar thing where I'm like
uh,
sitting
yeah
on the bed and like playing the music that was like really really truly inspiring to me. Like I think
yeah.
that has been just like so good, and I'm starting to feel like this impulse again that I think gets kind of ground down from the busyness of normal life, which is like God, I just want to like learn things, and I want to like just
You're
be
saying it.
yeah be as much of myself right now as I can be.
Yeah,
You know?
you make a really good point. Like I feel like it took me 36 years to learn how to relax and enjoy moments of not working. And it's like, I don't know if it's like this way we live as like growing up, like where it's like, if you're not working, then you should feel guilty for relaxing because you're not working, and just growing up, that's kind of what was drilled into me. And it was good, I have a really good work ethic for it, but I've recently learned to enjoy downtime. Before, I would always feel a little guilty, and then on the other end of that, like what you're saying about like these unpolished, raw um, sketches, or in music terms, like I don't know what you would call it, like a track, like a first take or whatever,
Like a demo or
a
something.
demo, yeah. So like those things are beautiful. Like this podcast right now, like I know I could have shaved, uh, sooner or whatever, and like my background is just my garage and studio space. Like it's quarantine time, man. Like I need a haircut. Like nobody cares. Nothing's polished. There's honesty in this, and I think people can appreciate it. Um, Hold on. Oh, we should mention, like, I'm seeing a lot of people starting to comment now, and so I'm trying to pin them. But I should mention, like, if you have any questions for Zach or myself, just feel free to type it in there, and we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
Junie, per tapes.
yeah, Juniper tapes.
Oh, June. Oh, okay, yeah. Zach, how could you not be inspired waking up next to that what is
It's a Pokemon Infernape.
oh okay, sticker every day. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's a good question. Zach, how could you not be inspired waking up next to that?
Well, the truth is that these days I'm always inspired. Um, the question is, how do I survive in Nashville without my Infernape sticker next to my name?
Oh,
And that's actually Drew. He's the bassist for the Dreaded Laramie. I was talking about him earlier in the podcast or the live video. Yeah.
yeah. Man, it's so cool. Like, we've been in touch, since Rock Canyon, like years now, and your journey has taken you where you are now. Like, you're a guitarist in an awesome rock band. I think that's great. I think that's so fun. I'm just so proud. Like, I think we're getting everybody's questions. There's a lot, but I think I think we got a few of them.
Yeah, I'm wearing the. Well, I'm
Oh,
proud of Mr. G too because I'm wearing his T-shirt.
yeah,
The
the Roger Klein and the Peacemakers Unida Cantina T-shirt.
Yeah,
You
Mr. G
know,
is the artwork artist.
do you remember me painting that in class? Yeah.
I do.
Uh, Roger's a great musician, like Roger Klein and the Peacemakers. You know, they're a great band, and I was lucky enough to work with them for a while. And they would be like, "Hey, Daniel, we need an album cover this weekend," and it's like Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm like, "Oh my god," you know, and I'm teaching at the same time, and I remember like bringing that canvas to class, being like, "Guys, just behave, don't." You know, make a mess, but you know, and I remember I asked like a student, "Hey, can you stand on the table, like, and I'll just, you know, I need somebody to pose like this," and that was really fun. I enjoyed that, making that painting. I wish they would have extended the deadline. I could have like, you know, done a really good job. But thanks for wearing that. I'm gonna have to show Roger now. I'm probably gonna talk with him later this week.
Yeah,
I'll have to,
Mr. G showed me like his music, and it, you know, as obvious as it would be, it became one of like the soundtracks of like my, you know, kind of my high school experience, and
it's a good soundtrack.
yeah, no, it was awesome. I felt like I was reliving your high school experience, Mr. G.
No, I remember like asking you like, "Hey Zach, like, what are your favorite bands?" You're like, "Bare Naked Ladies," and I'm like, "What?" And it like took me out a little, you know, a little surprise there. I'm like, "Oh, of course, yes, that's what you mean." Yeah, every time I hear them, I think of you. And you got a question from Seafoam Samples. Where's the first
Yes,
place you want to play once venues open back up?
man. Oh, Seafoam Samples. I would love to play in Lexington.
What's in Lexington?
That's where MC lives, and that's where the University of Kentucky is, which is where she is going to grad school. Um, and we played. Oh God, the name just ran out of my head. But there's like a show that we want to play with Walrus, and you know, hopefully Seafoam Samples too. But I would just like the Lexington music community is so tight. You know, like they're just such nice people, and I feel like we always have some of our like favorite shows in Lexington. Yeah, at Best Friend Bar.
Best Friend Bar.
Yeah, or
Lexington. Is that Kentucky?
yeah.
Okay.
It's
I just my nephew just got stationed in Kentucky at Fort it's the Fort Knox. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's like 3.5 hours away from Nashville. I mean, that being said, like I'd love to play in Nashville too. You know, once things kind of pop back up, but the real answer that I should have said is Madison Square Garden. That will be the Dreaded
Yeah.
Laramie's first
Red
show
Rocks.
back.
I'm gonna play at Red Rock. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. Man. Yeah, I bet one of these days, you know, you never know. Future's wide open, man. I'm a fan. I'm sure more people are gonna listen to you guys' music now. At least what, 3, 4 people watching. So I don't know. Like the last one we did, I was so surprised. Like with my friend Grace, like we had just, like I said, like we've been having really good phone conversations, and we're like, yeah, let's just, you know, do a podcast or whatever. That last one got like over 300 views. It was crazy. I'm like, oh, all right. I guess people, you know, tune in later or whatever. It's really cool. You know,
That's
I'm excited for you guys, and I can't wait to hear more of your music. I also like the look of the album cover and stuff. You told me John did it.
yeah. My buddy and like one of my oldest friends, John Hayek.
Coronavirus.
Yeah. Coronavirus. He's living in New York, but I was driving a huge Jenny's ice cream truck when I got the idea to reach out to one of my old friends about doing the artwork for it, and John was like so excited to be doing it, and I love what he came up with. We collaborated through the whole thing.
Yeah, it's definitely got like this really soft feel to it, but there's a little bit of edge in there,
Yeah.
I like it. What do you
Yeah.
mean you were driving a big ice cream truck? Back up and tell me that story. What?
Yeah, for a few months I was the truck driver that brought Jenny's ice cream from the cold packing plant in Erlanger, Kentucky, which is basically Cincinnati, to Nashville. And the way that works is that like basically twice a week, some poor soul wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning and drives 4 hours from Nashville to Ohio, like picks up the ice cream and then drives it back, and then that's like basically their work day. And that was me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's you. Was that the worst job you've ever had?
No, I loved it.
You want your
It was a little grueling because like no matter how hard I try, I cannot go to bed before like 11 p.m. So I would end up being horribly sleep deprived and would have to buy those like Starbucks triple shot like high octane rhino juice things that would just make my heart like and I knew that was gonna be have detrimental effects on my health. So it wasn't something that I wanted to do for a long time. But man, it was so fun. Sort of while I was doing it, and I don't look like a truck driver, which was just an image that I loved. Was like wearing my girlfriend's like couch cushion looking blazer and like skinny jeans and just hopping out of this like big old reefer truck and like giving nods to my fellow truck drivers at the truck stops.
Breaker. Yeah, man, what was the worst job you had? I'm curious now if that wasn't it.
The worst job that I had?
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't think, at least that's coming to mind, I haven't had like a bad job. I would say I've been pretty lucky because I've worked for like Jenny's and Batch as kind of like my side jobs, and even working at the Container Store, which I did for a little bit this past fall. Like the people there were so cool, and it was such a like nice team. I didn't love doing that job, but like I guess one time when I was in high school, I went to like a puppy rescue, thinking that was going to be like a really like fun, cute thing where I was going to be like basically taking a bubble bath with a bunch of puppies and petting them and having this good time. And instead it was like this really sad like farm in the middle of nowhere that like I had to administer like their like medications, which they did not like, and I would have to like hold them down while I was like injecting it into their thing, and they were like barf.
Okay, you can stop. Stop.
Yeah.
Man, the poor pup. Gosh, what? I'm trying to remember my worst job really quick. It was.
What was that?
I've had a lot of jobs, and a lot of them were like manual labor, work, doing this or doing that, and I have like crazy stories to tell. But I loved all the manual labor jobs. Like I like that stuff. The worst job I ever had was in Tucson at Little Caesars. I worked there for 3 days, man. I got there. I was like rolling dough balls and stuff, and then the next day I was like, they're like, you're pretty good at that. And like the next day I was like making pizzas, and the third day I was at the register, and they're like, wow, you're good. And like while I was there in those 3 days, I moved up all the way to register, and then like somebody tried to sell me their acid recipe. This other guy was like wearing his ankle bracelet and like fiddling around with it during work, and I'm like, I don't need this in my life. And the whole reason I joined that work team was to get free pizza. I was in college at the time, and you didn't even get free pizza. They
What?
gave you only free crazy bread, and I was like, "This sucks." And I remember, like, I walked out of that job, after 3 days. I was like, "This sucks." Yeah.
My dad was telling me that one of the jobs that he had when he was in high school was he worked for a florist who would put the have all these like floral arrangements at funeral homes, and at night after everybody had gone, he would have a key to the funeral home, and my dad would drive back out and collect the flowers so that they could be put out fresh ones in the morning. But it would be just him with the corpse, like coming back in the middle of the night, like no one else was there, and he would just like grab all the flowers from around.
That doesn't sound too bad, to me.
It doesn't.
No, like, I don't know, dead people, like, I don't know. It's
Well,
like,
you should tell about when you were like in high school, like playing down by the river and found the spongy spot in the earth.
Oh. No, we'll get that to on another show. We got like, what, 18 minutes, 20 minutes, I think, left, and we'll talk about your band, man. Like, just about you guys. Yeah, we could talk about all the crazy things I've seen that made me who I am today. We could talk about that later. I plan on doing this, like, I don't know, weekly, with friends of mine. So follow along, on my Instagram or whatever, and you'll get a notice whenever I'm about to go live, or you'll see it in the stories. It'll be fun. Like, I don't plan on, like, I don't know, this isn't like a monetary thing for me. I'm like, I just want to have fun and catch up and talk art with my friends,
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. What do we...
You just said Daniel has seen some shit.
I have seen some shit. Like, yeah, we could have another episode where I talk about the shit I have seen. Oh my god, I'm going through it in my mind. It's like a Rolodex, and I have to stop it right now. Let me change the subject. One of the things I was gonna ask was a technical question, like about your guitars, like, because you're a guitarist, and you have a preference for like the twangy Telecaster. Is that what you use mainly?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm mostly Stratocaster these days.
Oh, what has been the change, Zach?
I don't know. I like that it has the 5-way like pickup switch. And it was just like a cooler, nicer guitar than my first one, which was a Telecaster that I still love and use a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Stratocaster is like.
Yeah,
it's just sort of something that I was seeing time and time again as the rock guitar. I'm not I'm really not much of a gear person as much as I would love to be. But I like that it's bright when it wants to be, and it kind of shoots you like a laser. And I actually got a humbucker installed in just the bridge pickup, which gives it a little bit of like maybe a little more meat on the tone for when I'm doing Laramie stuff and need to switch between like the rhythm and like the lead stuff that I do with MC.
Right on.
Yeah.
No, that's like I would have never guessed. Like I'm always curious about that. Not that I'm like, a gear person, but it's like at a certain level, like even a tennis player will be like, oh, that tennis racket is trash. Like I play with this racket because this, and I guess what I'm saying is at a certain level, performance matters, even with like paintbrushes and paint, there's some tubes of paint where I'm like, oh, this is horrible. And then other tubes of paint where I'm like, this is worth $80, you know? I'm like, yes, I will pay $80 for this tube of paint.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's a great question because obviously you don't want to be using like like really bad stuff. But I'm still at the point in my musical life because I have so much more of like a classical background than the rock stuff where any input that I get from people I will like take so to heart. It's like if somebody's like, "Ooh, that tone didn't sound good," I'm like, "You're right," you know. Like, oh, well, what do I do to fix it? You know, kid
Oh
from
man.
that
Well,
yeah,
it's
kid
it's
at this.
like it's like what I tell. I heard this a while ago, and it's like in art, you know, you can become a professional student, and that's not necessarily like a good thing. It's like when you get the driver's license, you know, artistic license or driver's license. When you get a driver's license, they say, okay, you can drive now. And like, you know, you're really excited and you drive really well. But the point of getting that license is so to go somewhere. You know, you got to go on your journey. You got to find your path and go somewhere. And
Totally.
that's like, you know, you worked really hard to get all these skills. You have your artistic license now as a guitarist or as a painter, and you can paint anybody you look at. You can paint, you know, a still life, you can paint a person, you can paint a landscape, and you can do that. But now you gotta like go on your path
Yeah,
and find your style. I hate to say style, but like you gotta
like
find your sound.
personality with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's like a signature. Everybody learns to write. You know, they learn the alphabet. They learn, you know, how to write the letters, but you don't really think about the style of what your letters look like. You think about what you want to write, you know, and
exactly.
and like yeah, the style will evolve. Like, you know, some people write their A's like this, some people write their G's like this or whatever, you know, and yeah, I wouldn't worry so much about style, but I would say be aware of being a student too long in that racetrack, you know, getting really
Right.
good at driving. Like, no, go drive somewhere, you know.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And it's funny because I've had people like say things where they're like, "Oh, like, dude, if you're playing rock music, like it's got to be a Gibson or like it's got to be something like this." And I'm like, but for a while I was like, "Oh no, like I've invested in the wrong thing. Like, what am I
Yeah.
doing?" And I think it's more so just like I used to think it was also like kind of dumb to pick a guitar based on like the color of it or something. Like I thought that was not something that real people did, and then I realized it's like no, like that's part of the fun of picking an instrument is something that like when you just look at it, you're like oh shit, like I have to pick that up. Like I
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
touch that.
You're like, that looks really, yeah. That's great. That's so good to hear.
We
Like,
also had a quick question, really quick.
oh yeah, did you see it?
Yeah, Drew asked, "What day job did you find the most conducive to creating art, and why?"
Ooh.
That's
Uh,
you.
oh, me.
Yeah.
What day job did I find? I worked at Sarnoff Art Materials in Tucson, and that was a really good education for me. I learned, you know, these amazing artists would come into the store and they'd be, you know, buying this or that, and I'd ask them questions, and they would just tell me like, "Oh, I've been using this because of that," and I learned so much about the materials, the work ethic, and even in framing. I worked in framing also. That was a good time. I liked working at an art store. It was a surprising education there. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think I don't know. I've had people say like, "Oh, don't work somewhere music related because then you're going to be too burnt out to like want to do music when you get home or something." Have you found that that's true with art, or is it kind of the opposite, where being at work and having people talking about it and in that culture like just makes you want to do it more when you're not there?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. I think it just depends. Like, yeah. In my experience, I felt like I've always had to make art just to stay sane. You know, so if I'm working, teaching art, you know, I'm clearly like bringing it into the classroom and being like, okay, like this is what I'm working on. This is, you know, I'm sharing it with you guys, and then you, like the students, would be like, Gonzo, I don't know how to do this, and I want to do this. Do you know how to do this? And I'm like, oh no, but let's figure it out. And that was always a lot of fun. But I feel like if you're, everybody's got their side jobs, man. Like I was moving furniture for a wonderful lady who staged homes in Seattle, you know, as a side job, just to like make ends meet, you know, and like I enjoy physical exercise and the labor I do, and I enjoyed my time doing that, but it's like just another job, you know, that paid well, and I had fun getting to know Seattle. Um, I don't know. I think it's an individual question. I've definitely had jobs where I've burnt out, and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't want to do this anymore. You know. Oh, we got a question from Michael Anderson. Who could that be? Yeah. Who was your single most inspiration that started you on your journey? Is that for me or you?
I assume it's for you, because my dad was there.
My grandfather painted. He actually, when I was really young, I was always looking at his stuff like it was magic, because he would look at something and draw it or paint it, and I'm just like, man, how does he do that? And it's like watching a good magician. You're just like, how does that magic happen? And I remember it was that, and also Bill Watterson from Calvin and Hobbes. Like,
I got it right here.
Oh, Calvin and Hobbes. Yeah. So I would read that. I was obsessed, and I was also obsessed with the way he would draw, like Calvin being surprised, or the way he would draw a tree, or I was just really amazed at how he can make lines and color come to life. So I think those two were really good pushes in my artistic journey. I always knew I was going to be an artist. I have like stuff from when I was real little saying, I'm going to be an artist one day. But those definitely were a good push in the right direction. Yeah.
And I mean,
what about you for music and stuff?
For music stuff, man, I mean, my dad knows this, but he used to play this like cassette tape of John Denver live.
Yeah, John Denver.
Yeah, and it's so weird to me, but I loved that stuff just like so innately. You know, it was like I would sit in the back seat of the car as like a 3-year-old and pretend to play the guitar, and I still do this actually. I'd make my parents turn up the music really loud so that they couldn't hear my singing.
So you're still in the back going, turn it up, Mom.
Yeah. And they think...
Oh, that's so cute, though. That's awesome.
And then, of course,
Almost heaven.
Yeah.
West Virginia. Yeah. Jumped it.
And eventually that became sort of... it became about the Bare Naked Ladies for me, with Stephen Page. Because he... I don't know, Steve was like growing up, he kind of looked a little bit like me at that age, you know, where I was like
I can see that, yeah.
A little bit plushier, and he was like kind of a dork, but also was like such a rock star, and just seemed to have so much fun, and all that stuff. I feel like is stuff that I just like really revered at that age, and still do, you know. Kind of the darkness in his lyrics with the fun in his like stage persona, and yeah, I feel like that's like one of the big Dreaded Laramie things is having really like fun and active live shows too, and I'm real proud to be a Stephen Page fan.
Yeah. I remember discovering the Bare Naked Ladies when I was in high school, and I was like, wow, what a peculiar name. And I bought like a chunk of CDs that they had at this like thrift store or something. They were all used CDs. And I remember like just listening to the lyrics, and I'm like, wow, I was really into like songwriting and lyrics at the time. And like When I Fall is a lovely, like, I don't know, it's a beautiful soft song but it's like also kind of dark, you know. I was like, oh, like, but I love the melody and everything.
Yeah.
Best Bar was insane. You guys killed it.
Oh, dude, thank
Samples.
you. You guys
Yeah.
did. Oh my god, that was such a fun show.
I can't wait to see you guys live. I can't wait. Come to LA and or shoot, I'll go to Kentucky and I'll see you guys in Lexington.
Yeah, come to Best Friend Bar.
Okay.
We'll have a blast.
Yeah, that'll be fun, man.
Yeah, but
Evil Math Queen joined. That's a cool name.
I like that. Wait.
Yeah.
I wonder if I know that person. I can't tell. But I will say, somebody asked, what are your favorite socks?
Oh, what are your favorite socks?
Well, I got for Christmas a couple Christmases ago these like Pokemon Raichu socks that are like they're like kind of tropical, and I swear to God, I saved them for a special occasion, and on like my first date with my girlfriend, that was like the occasion. Like I
like wearing special underwear.
Yeah. And I wear them so rarely because I want them to last forever. But how about you? Do you have a favorite pair of socks, or are they just like socks?
Yeah. Jackie got me these socks. They're like, they look like skeleton feet. They're like X-rays, you know. It's like an X-ray, like a photograph of an X-ray, like printed on a sock. But it's like the bones of the foot, and even like the tibia and fibula, like. They're really cool. I'm like, oh man, and like one is like printed, so you put it in your, you know, one's for the left, one's for the right. And I was like, I love this. Yeah. But I also have like favorite running socks, and those are because I'm a runner, and like in Colorado, sometimes I'd go out running and it would be wet, and I would, you know, that would just kill your run because you'd have like the wetness would get in your socks or shoes, and it would be like from the melting snow or whatever, and you'd have blisters. And so what I'd do, I found these dry fit socks. That's what they're called. They're called dry fit, and they just wick all the moisture away, and you can run for 15, 20, 30 miles, and you won't have any blisters. I'm serious. Like dry fit socks. Like I would, if they care to sponsor this free live Instagram, yeah.
I was gonna say, you can run 15 to 30 miles. Those will be great for me, running to the fridge to get the almond milk for my cereal in the morning. Which is
yeah, you might like them.
That I'm at these days.
I'll have to share with you guys a picture of my my skeleton socks. They're great. In fact, one time I went to the hospital and I was just coincidentally wearing them, and the lady taking my X-ray was like, oh my God, your socks are amazing. And, you know, because she was like an X-ray tech, and she was like, these are amazing socks.
She did an extra good job at administering your X-ray.
I know. Seafoam Sample says, I love how MC uses a face mic instead of the conventional mic. It clears so much space to dance.
Yeah.
And you must be moving around a whole lot then.
Yeah, and MC, like, invested in, like, honestly, I think it might have been in the first, like, 6 months that we were a band. She, you know, invested in this headset microphone that you can, like, kind of hook around your ear, and it's like the Britney Spears mic.
Oh, yeah?
And I think, you know, I think people think that we do it to be funny, but actually MC does it so that she can, still look at her hands while she's, like, shredding.
Oh, that's great. I love that. That's so cool.
And she can, it definitely does clear up room for, like, the choreography and stuff, which we which is like our favorite thing about playing live. It's coming up. Yeah, see, Jacob was there too. Jake Curio here.
Probably
From
more like 3 months.
yeah,
It was very early.
he was
Is he
It's
talking
super
about
hot. It's
3
burning
months
oil
like
off the.
of being a band that she bought that?
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
okay.
our original bass player.
Oh, okay.
That I was
Cool.
talking about
Well,
earlier, the bio major
Oh, okay.
at Belmont, and yeah, he knows we had that idea very, very early on.
Nice, man. That's cool. So, do you guys all do like the wireless? Do you go wireless with your like jack for your guitar also, or no?
No, we don't play anywhere big enough to like
Run around.
need that. Yeah, you know. At this point, yeah, no, we still have regular quarter-inch cables, but having MC the freedom to like look up and around and still sing is great. Except for the fact that it has led to a lot of feedback issues.
Oh,
Like it's a particularly ornery device. Ornery. Yeah. For
I like the picture of her playing the guitar. I think it's on your Instagram, where it looks like she's underwater. You know, she's got goggles and she says something like, "This guitar works really well underwater" or something like that. I'm serious. You guys should do like an underwater photo shoot, like bubbles out of a trumpet. Not that you guys have a trumpet or whatever, but like I don't know, like hair, like that would be so cool to see. Like I don't know, just something different. I think it would be a lot of fun. But that's when I saw that, I was like, oh snap, like, oh, they should go all the way with this. They should totally like get a pool and jump in with their expensive equipment and yeah.
yeah. No, I'd love to do that. We have yeah, we took those photos for like actually a little bit of a music video that we're still kind of working on. And MC just found, she was like, damn, this is like a cool ass picture. So
yeah, I agree. Like, where can people see the music video? Where are you guys gonna post it?
We'll we'll get it to you.
Okay.
It'll be
Yeah, let us know.
Instagram and stuff.
I think
I don't know
I'm
when
gonna
that's coming yet, but
I'm gonna get a countdown pretty soon because we've been on for like almost an hour, and I think that's the limit for these things. So
okay.
yeah, just letting you know. Like I don't see the countdown thing yet, but last time I did this, it like jumped on my screen and it was like counting down from a minute. I'm like, oh, Grace, we only have a minute left, so I'll just remind you once it comes up. But man, yeah. So tell everybody where they can find your music and like, what's your Instagram and all that, so
Yeah,
people can
totally
follow you guys.
There, I'll type it out. It's at the Dreaded Laramie Band. We are now active again. Also, I mean, I think we always have been to some extent, but we are active on Twitter.
Okay, cool.
So hang out with us there too, at the Dreaded Laramie Band. Yeah, and so I mean, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music. It's like, we got links to that on our Instagram page, which I just posted there. Really, really excited about new songs that we have that we've been kind of playing around with for months now too. So hopefully people will be keeping an ear out for that. Yeah, I'm
excited. I'm excited to hear the new stuff. I mean, I like what I've heard already, and it was just yesterday, and I was like, dang, I like this stuff. Yeah, so I'm excited to see you guys in Kentucky once all this stuff is over. But if you guys decide to like do some sort of streaming or whatever, or let us know. Let me know. I'll throw it up on Instagram. Yeah, it says now I have a minute remaining.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Do you have stuff that we should be looking out for? Like what's next for Daniel Gonzalez?
Oh, I got art shows. The next one is in Whitefish, Montana, and then I'll post it all on Instagram and Facebook. But no, this was about you guys. I wanted to share your band with everybody and your music. And yeah, thanks for the conversation. And yeah, I I'll keep everybody posted on where to find you guys. I'll put it in the stories and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's such a treat to get to share you too. You're such a big part of my life.
Yeah, we'll do this again. We'll definitely do this again.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much.
Right on. All right. Well, you're welcome. All right. Take care, everybody. We're going to sign off now. I got 5 seconds left.